Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Race to 100. I am Rick Storsell.
And I'm Neil Butang. Thank you for tuning in.
And we're in episode number 40.
The big 4-0, man.
And
40% of the way there.
Yeah, so yesterday was a very depressing day, to say the least. We're filming this right now at about 2 in the morning or so, and we have been absorbing the news that in Orlando there was a shooting that took place at a gay nightclub, and about 50 people were killed, and I think 53 were injured, I believe.
Yes.
So this is one of those things that's, an ongoing situation. They don't know whether or not it was an ISIS attack. They don't know what this person's motivations were. Needless to say, it was something that rocked the country. It was, has absorbed the national conversation for the past 24 hours or so, and I'm sure will continue to develop as we go on. It's one of those things where you wonder how an individual could be filled with so much malice and hatred that they could commit such an atrocious crime, regardless of what you think about homosexuality, regardless of what you think about, gay nightclubs. The fact that a person like this was able to go in and with what was an AR-15 or something like that.
The guy had a handgun
and an
assault rifle, and these weapons he had resulted in the largest mass shooting in American history.
And what was your initial reaction when you heard about this?
I woke up this morning and I saw it, and I saw mass shooting at nightclub, and I was like, whoa, there was a mass shooting. And then when I was on a trip, and when I got back, I saw the numbers and the body count, and I guess there's even video footage of it trending on YouTube. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it. I just can't watch somebody, massively shooting at innocent people for whatever views, sexual orientation they choose. And it's just sad that this happens in the United States of America. I don't understand what's happening. There's terrorism happening here in good old USA, unfortunately, and I ask my friends, how do we stop this? How do we alleviate the terrorism that's happening on American soil? How do we control this type of stuff from happening again? But it's you kind of just have to pray and hope that the man upstairs takes care of you and lines things up for you, and that you're in the right place at the right time to avoid this.
And there's two lines of thought that go along this, because obviously something like this happens, people try to take advantage of it in the political sense, right?
Yeah.
And so on one hand you have the conservative side saying that, oh, well, this is an ISIS infiltration. There are people from ISIS coming to the country, being radicalized, and then committing these atrocities. And on the left side, you have, well, he had an AR-15. I mean, the guns are out of control.
Yeah,
how in the world should somebody be able to purchase an assault rifle to be able to commit this sort of atrocious crime?
Yeah.
So, do you have a thought about this right-left divide of
my issue is my entire issue isn't necessarily the whole terrorism. It's the whole issue or policy regarding gun laws. I mean, if you're just going to hear something about me, our gun laws are kind of loose, and it makes things like this, unfortunately, it makes it less prevalent. It makes it harder to prevent things like this from happening when we've got such loose gun policies and rules that are happening in this country. And it's really unfortunate. My thing is, how do we monitor, how do we screen for proper, gun issuing? I mean, I heard the guy was investigated by the FBI. I mean, his ex-wife said he beat him. I mean, the guy had a violent history, and then how was this guy able to purchase a handgun?
More than that,
and an assault rifle?
You had in California too. There was the FBI managed to prevent another attack Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Another attack
Yeah.
where there was a guy who had a chest full of explosives,
and
assault rifle,
and all types of weapons on his way to a gay pride festival.
And so you had this like culmination of events that was going to make multiple mass shootings over the course of a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it is almost unconscionable that we as a society allow this to happen over and over again. Because I mean, you look at San Bernardino happened almost half a year ago.
Yeah.
And what has happened to try and change the culture that we've lived in since then? Nothing. Because it's been caught up in this political argument of, oh, well, Second Amendment rights versus
that is some scary stuff. You know, Rich, when you go overseas, a common question, because I've traveled, I've been to London, I've been to France, and I've been to Belgium, and when I speak with the common folk, people who haven't been to the United States, the first question they ask me is that, can civilians really bear arms? And I say, I look at them and they look at me like, is that really a thing? Like, I know it's an amendment right, but do people actually own weapons? And I say, absolutely. And they said, you know how effing scary that is?
Yeah.
Like, for a lot of people overseas, like, it's inconceivable that some random person that you have no idea who he is and what his background is can legally operate a firearm.
And you know,
or own a firearm.
And you know what the conversation is right now in Florida, in the legislature, is whether or not to have open carry. That is the bill that is currently being debated right now. And you look at a massacre like this, and you ask yourself, how in the world have we come to this? That the units, and I understand Second Amendment rights. I understand the ability for people to own firearms. But when it comes to assault rifles, when it comes to weapons of, that are meant for solely the purpose of mass killing, you have to ask yourself,
those are used in war.
What is going
assault
on?
Rifles.
What in the world is going on? And we are at a place right now where the conversation is stalled. And it seems like any attempt to try and regulate this or to resolve this problem through legislative bodies is stopped by the NRA, which has been hijacked. It was hijacked about 20 years ago by LaPierre, who changed it from a safety. The NRA used to be wonderful. Like the NRA used to be about safety and prevention. How to use a gun, how to use it safely, and now it's about trying to make missile launchers okay. Yeah. And it's like, how have we gotten to that point right now where that's okay? And one of the things that when we were in high school, like Mr. Haas, one of our history teachers, was like, if you want to affect change, you join the organization and work to affect that change internally. From within. And we see that in the worst possible sense where we've gotten to right now with the NRA, of people who have usurped the purpose of the NRA, which is safe and responsible use of firearms, to money. It's all about the bottom line, the dollar of like,
because and the counter argument with that is, I'm sure that the person to the right will say, well, I mean, if people are going to do bad things, people are going to do bad things. I mean, people were stoned to death in the Bible, things of that nature. But again, my argument with that is when you look at other Western countries, first world countries, developed countries that are on the same economic level as the United States.
First world countries.
They don't deal with this stuff like that.
Absolutely not.
They laugh like. So again, and my question is it because like stuff's crazy in America and we've driven civilians crazy for them to want to do things like this?
I love the video game argument, by the way.
Or is it because people are just really gunning for America and they have it out for us more than they would in other first world countries? Or is it because our gun policies are too loose? And I think it's a combination of all three, but yeah, something's got to give. Something's got to give. So
how many times are we gonna have to deal with this sort of crud.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. And my friend told me today, he's like, the funny thing is, he's like, today is 50. He's like, next year it'll be 75. You know what I'm saying? And it could happen anywhere at any time. Just, ask for the blessings, ask for your blessing from the man upstairs, and make sure y'all stay safe, when you can, educate yourself on these types of
prayers
things.
to those in Orlando who experienced this stuff, gay or straight. I mean, my God, I can't imagine what those individuals are going through. So, prayers for everyone who had to experience a horrible, horrible thing.
Absolutely. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Feel free to like, comment, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, for more access to episodes of Race to 100. Rick, you want to add anything?
We will catch you next time on the Race to 100. Peace.